Oh, let me turn all the microphones on.
No, and I wouldn't have come.
There we go.
Testing, there we go. I'd like to call the meeting to order for the sewer district for April 10th, 2024. Could you please call the roll and establish our quorum?
Members Aquino?
Here.
Carpenter Costa?
Present.
Desmond?
Here.
Frost?
Here.
Kennedy?
Here.
Maple?
Here.
Orozco?
Here.
Robles? Cerna?
Here.
Talamantes?
Here.
Tao?
Here.
And Villegas?
Here.
And you have a quorum.
Thank you. I'd like to welcome City of Sacramento Director Sean Tao. How you pronounce your last name? Tao?
Yeah.
Sean Tao from City of Sacramento District. District which one? Three?
Two.
District 2. District 2. He's District 2. And Director Sander is absent. Let's do the pledge of the flag.
Like everybody getting up, move one of those chairs out and get more room.
I pledge allegiance
And let everyone get back in. Take this chair out so we can get.
Sure.
He's coming, though.
Oh, he's coming?
He's going to be late.
Oh, maybe I can move it down. Maybe we can move down. Cozy, you know? Maybe people moving down. We need
Chairperson?
to get Karina in the game.
Karpinski Costa, I will read the, if you'd like,
Yeah, I
I'd
was
like
just
to read
waiting
the
for Sue
statement.
to get
Okay.
settled.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, there you go.
Please read the public comment statement.
This meeting of the Sacramento Area Sewer District is being broadcast live on Metro Cable 14, the local government affairs channel on the Comcast Consolidated Communications and AT&T Uverse cable systems. This meeting is closed captioned and live streamed at metro14live.saccounty.gov. Today's meeting will replay Sunday, April 14th at 9 a.m. on Channel 14. This meeting can also be viewed at youtube.com/Metro Cable 14. In accordance with the Government Code 54952.3, compensation for a meeting of these legislative bodies is required to be verbally disclosed. The amount of $100 will be paid for each member participating today as a member of the Sacramento Area Sewer District. Compensation for Sacramento County Supervisors and City of Sacramento Council members is paid to the county and city respectively to partially offset the costs of those governments. Compensation for other board members is delivered to the individuals. To make an in-person public comment, please complete a speaker request form and hand it to the clerk. The chairperson will call your name when it is your turn to make a comment, and the speaker request forms are at the back of the room on the table. You may send written comments to email written comments to boardclerk@saccounty.gov. Your comment will be routed to the board and filed in the record. And that concludes the clerk's statement.
Thank you. We're now going to adjourn to our closed session in hearing room 1.
And the closed session titles are the Sacramento Area Sewer District versus California Department of Water Resources, and the Sacramento Area Flood Control Agency versus Alice Crew Miniature, trustee of the Alice Crew Miniature Trust, dated February 18, 2005, et al.
Thank you. Thank you for doing that.
Okay, we'll go ahead and come back into regular open session. As I understand it, there's nothing to report out of closed session. All right, very good. In that case, we will move on to timed matters for the Sacramento Area Sewer District, consent items 1, 2, and 3. Does anybody wish to pull an item or have any questions on any of those items?
Move approval?
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any member of the public wish to comment on the consent?
I do not have any speaker slips.
Okay, seeing none, then we'll go ahead and call the roll. Or is a voice vote acceptable?
You could do a voice vote. That's completely
All those
fine.
in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Very good. Motion passes unanimously. All right, on to public comment for items not on the agenda. Is there anybody wishing to comment on an item that is not regularly agendized? Seeing no one, we'll close item 4. Move on to item 5, miscellaneous director and district engineer matters.
Good morning. Just a few quick things. Our April 24th board meeting will be canceled, so next meeting is May 8th. The May 8th meeting is going to be pretty packed. We will be introducing our upcoming 24-25 budget and a bunch of other items. So it'll be a full agenda. And then I just wanted to mention the California Water Environment Association, one of our professional associations, has their annual conference. Actually, it's this week, and it happens to be in Sacramento. And yesterday, we had they do pre-conference workshops and tours on Tuesday, so it was yesterday. And we had a tour, of course, out at our Echo Water facility. It was sold out. There was 55 water professionals out there. Had a great time and learned a lot. Very good exchange of information. And also just let you know that this week we'll have some of our staff attending the conference. It's over at the convention center. So that's happening. And that's all I had.
All right, thank you. Any questions for the district engineer? Any comments from directors? Okay, we will move on then to item 6, which is our district separate matter. The clerk would please read the title.
Item number 6 is to introduce proposed rate increases and other amendments to the Sacramento Area Sewer District Collection System Ordinance and Treatment and Resource Recovery Ordinance, and continue the ordinance to May 8, 2024 for adoption.
Very good, thank you.
All right, good morning, Chair and board members. This is our proposed 3-year rate increase. Although it is a significant increase, keep in mind that we haven't raised our rates on the collection system side since 2010 and on the treatment side since 2018. So it has been quite a while, and just inflation alone has been greater than the proposed increase. Obviously, it's frustrating getting to this point and having just, it feels like, and the community's feeling the same way, that inflation is hitting everywhere and everyone, and just everything is going up in price. And we finally gotten to the point where we can't continue with the rates that we had without bumping them up. It is a 3-step process. The first one was back in last October. Your board approved us moving forward with the notification, Prop 218 notification process. And then also in January, that was for residential and commercial. And then in January, you took the same action for our industrial rates. So then in the time since then, we have developed the outreach materials. Those get mailed to every property owner, had public meetings, and we've received a lot of feedback during that process. This is step 2. We have to, in order to enact the rate increase, we have to amend our ordinance because that's where the rates are shown. And so we are introducing the ordinance today, and then step 3 will be on May 8th, and that would be where you would adopt the ordinance that would then go into effect July 1st. There are a few minor changes outside that aren't related to the rate increase that we are proposing to change in the ordinance. They're mostly to adapt to some regulatory and process changes within the district. And also, of course, we went through the merger. There's a bunch of name change stuff that we have to do as well, just to clean that up. One other thing I want to point out is that we are also working on softening this increase by increasing the outreach on our Sewer Lifeline Rate Assistance Program. I am going to go ahead and turn it over to Nicole Coleman, our communications director. She's going to walk through the Prop 218 process that we went through and the results, and also touch on the outreach that we're doing, some increased outreach for the rate assistance program. So, Nicole.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair, members of the board. Sac Sewer has a longstanding commitment to go above and beyond what's required for Proposition 218 outreach, and this rate process was no exception to that. In fact, we've implemented a few extra outreach tactics this year, and I'll review those with you this morning. So first and foremost, as Christoph mentioned, Sac Sewer mailed the newsletter to over 600,000 property owners in our service area. And these newsletters were customized with the proposed rate increases based on the services that a customer receives from us. So some newsletters had the collection and the treatment rates, whereas some customers only receive treatment services from us. And so those newsletters were different and separate. In addition to the required mailed notification, we implemented many additional outreach tactics. So we established a public website that included all relevant information, such as the drivers for the rate increase, how to protest, and where to go if they had questions. We also maintained a dedicated phone line and email inbox to triage customer questions. And just some data points on that, we received and responded to 17 customer emails and talked with over 51 customers as of this morning over the phone. This year, we also translated the English version of the newsletter into Spanish and Russian, and those were the next top two languages spoken in our service area. And those versions of the newsletters were posted on our public website and available via a QR code on the printed version that went out to the 600,000 customers. We also advertised and conducted 4 in-person community meetings and 1 virtual community meeting to share information and answer questions on the drivers for the rate increase. And we had a total of 10 customers attend one of the 4 in-person meetings and 5 customers attend our virtual session. Separately, an informational meeting was also conducted for our industrial customers who are billed a little bit differently, and there was 1 customer in attendance at that meeting. In addition to the outreach that we do, we also go above and beyond in terms of our response when we do receive a protest letter. So if the protest letter is straightforward, it doesn't include any questions or additional information we need to follow up on or cite a financial hardship due to the rate increases, we send a postcard that basically acknowledges that we received their protest, it had been counted, and also give the information again, as we do in the newsletter, about this rate hearing so that they can participate in that if they would like. But if a protest letter does include any questions or cites a financial hardship, we circle back with a customized response, answer those questions. If they cite a financial hardship, we give information about the rate assistance program so that the customer can determine if they qualify. One interesting thing that we noticed this year that I'll just mention is that we received several of the exact same protest letters from many different customers throughout our service area, which was the first that had happened. And so we had a hunch that they might be AI generated. And so we queried ChatGPT for a sewer rate increase protest letter. And the letter that we had been receiving was produced out of ChatGPT. So this is the first rate increase process that we've done since AI has been more widely available. And so that was just kind of an interesting twist and observation for us this year. So without further ado, in total, we received 121 protests for the proposed collection system rates and 159 protests for the proposed treatment and resource recovery rates. And those numbers are as of this morning. The industrial rate increases, as I mentioned, are handled separately. Those customers are billed differently, but there's also a rate protest process for them, and 0 protests were received from industrial customers. So Christoph mentioned the rate assistance program, and so I also just want to cover a couple of points on that. Last October, your board directed us to increase outreach related to our rate assistance program in an effort to grow enrollment, knowing that these rate increases were coming. And we've had the opportunity to do that. So in addition to including our rate assistance program information in all of our Prop 218 outreach tactics that I've mentioned, there's also prominent placement of that program on our public website. We do regular posts on our social media channels to get the word out about that program. And we also ran a bill insert in the February and March timeframe, parallel to all the outreach that was happening for the proposed rate increases, to make sure customers know about that program. That bill insert was also translated into Spanish and Russian and made available via a QR code to our website. So I'm happy to report that the rate assistance program enrollment has increased compared to last year. So for the first quarter of 2023 last year, we had a total of 209 new customers enroll in our rate assistance program. And for that same time period this year, we have had 422 new customers enroll in our program, so more than double last year's numbers. In addition to those enrollment statistics, we are able to see analytics on the back end of our website. And those analytics show that behind our homepage, which is the #1 most visited website on our website, the rate assistance program is the second top visited page on our website. So based on all of this data, we definitely believe that our outreach is working to get the word out about that rate assistance program. And with that, I'm happy to take any questions.
Okay, thank you. So I have a laundry list of things to go through here, so this might be a bit clunky, but I'll start with opening the public hearing. And are there any director questions or comments? Yes, Director Maple.
Thank you, Chair. And thank you, Ms. Coleman, for a wonderful presentation and overview. I'm really excited to hear about the increase in enrollment in the rate assistance program. I know that's one of the things that we've talked about before is, making sure that we're getting the word out. And I thank also the team for giving me the printed materials. So we actually bring them out with us for all of our community events. So hopefully that has helped people get the word out as well. One of the things that I did take notice of was the pretty, I would say, not great attendance at some of the meetings, the community meetings. And I understand that sometimes these are really challenging for folks to get to and get the word out about. But are there any lessons learned or, things that we can implement in the future to maybe increase some of the attendance there? Because I think it's important for folks to be able to hear about it and get their opinion heard at these meetings.
Yeah, it's a good observation, and I would say that attendance at these is typical to what we have seen in prior rate increase processes. The new thing that we did this year was the virtual meeting, and that actually had the highest attendance of all four or of the in-person meetings. So I think that that's information for us as we go forward, and maybe conduct additional virtual sessions instead, because we're in a post-COVID world now, and virtual meetings are pretty standard at this point. So I think that that's information we keep in mind as we go forward.
Wonderful. And maybe another suggestion too, and I don't know if you thought of this previously, but maybe partnering also with some of us. We're often doing events through our offices and through our various jurisdictions. So maybe there's an opportunity for us to kind of partner and get the word out and really expand that reach. And then you can also kind of piggyback off of some of our resources as well, which might help, because I know staffing and time is always an issue.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I think that was it for me. I'm just really thankful for all the work on this process.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other director questions or comments? No? Okay, Alma, I'm going to lean on you a little bit on this one. There's some findings and some waivings and some authorizings. And so of this list here, are there specific actions we need to do prior to continuing the item?
Continuing the hearing, correct, to the May 8th meeting, or yes, we're continuing that. So really that's the only thing for you to continue to the next meeting. I have already announced that in the title of the item. So
Okay, so
really the only thing.
everything
else,
below item 7 then?
correct.
Okay, so we'll incorporate continuing the action on the collected ordinance and the action on the treatment ordinance until May 8th, 2024. Is there a motion to do so?
So moved.
All right, I heard a motion down here. Was that Director
Second.
Guerra? And a second from Director Maple. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Can I ask for some clarification from council? Was that action enough to cover? I mean, there was a lot of recommendations in here.
Well, it's moving staff recommendations.
Okay.
is sufficient.
Okay.
Yes,
That's
it
what I
wasn't a
wanna hear.
lot. They were all delineated, but you moved the entire items 1 through 12.
Okay. Great. So we covered it?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Moving on to item number 7 then, please.
Item number 7 is the Echo Water Resource Recovery Facility Biosolids Emergency Update.
Can you bring up the presentation for item 7, please? Good morning, Chair, members of the board. My name is Sunny Lundy. I am Echo Water Facilities Operations and Maintenance Manager. I'm here today to give you an update on the biosolids emergency that started last year. Your board was presenting some information last year, and we're back here to give you an update on that on the emergency. Trying to click here. This is height. There we go. Thank you. The update will include an overview of the biosolids operations and the current challenges that we are experiencing, immediate actions that we've taken to prevent any catastrophic failures at the plant or any discharge to protect our environments, And then contingency measures, some innovation that we've implemented, some studies that we've put in place to further protect a spill or discharge. And then a summary of operational costs for the next few fiscal years. And then lastly, a conclusion and next steps. Biosolids overview. The solids are collected from the primary and secondary treatment systems at the Echo Water facility. These are indicated by the blue and green areas. Please note the BNR, our bionutrient removal process, is part of our new secondary treatment process. These solids are collected from these primary and secondary treatments and then delivered to the digester system. They receive solids, they receive organics and spent microorganisms or bugs. They retain this organic material and these microorganisms for about 15 days. The digesters are heated to about 98 degrees Fahrenheit, and the organic material is reduced significantly over that 15 days. Following that 15-day period, our biosolids go to one of two locations. Indicated in purple, just south of the digesters here, is our biorecycling facility. That is a partnership with Synagro that we send 25% of our biosolids to create a recycled fertilizer pellet that's applied to local agricultural lands. The remaining 75% is pumped out to our solid storage basins, indicated by the yellow here. We have a total of 20 solid storage basins. These are essentially ponds that receive biosolids, store that biosolids for up to 3 to 5 years to further stabilize those solids, and then those solids are dredged from those ponds and piped over to our lined dedicated land disposal sites. We have 4 of those lined dedicated land disposal sites in which biosolids are injected. This is our normal harvest that occurs from May through October. We harvest up to about 20,000 dry tons each year. It also should be noted that the SSB system has an overflow design that any excess water or rainwater in that system flows back to the headworks of the plant. A little background in our challenge that we're facing. The Echo Water project upgrades required to satisfy the 2010 discharge permit have caused a need for additional biosolids disposal at Echo Water. Essentially, less solids are being destroyed during the digestion process, which results in more solids being sent out to our SSBs, our solid storage basins. In addition, the characteristics of that solids, the new solids are not settling as well, which are causing a storage capacity in SSBs. We estimate about a 50% increase in capacity in the amount of solids being sent out to the SSBs over our previous prior to BNR Echo Water project. You can see here there's a basin, and pictured here is the solids that are full. This basin is essentially 90 to 100% full, and the solids are creating islands because the pond is so full. And what happens then is the flow that comes into the pond gets circumvented and short-circuited back to the outfall, which is problematic for us because it returns back to the headworks of the plant. This is a comparison of the solid storage basins. On the left is a typical loading before the Echo Water project, specifically BNR upgrades. You can see here the dark color. These are capped with water. They promote algae growth, and this is indication of healthy ponds in here. On the right is a picture of the same ponds approximately 18 months later. These are unhealthy ponds. You can see the solids starting to surface and the lack of distribution of that solids, and these are indications of unhealthy ponds. Solid storage basin return. As I said previously, excess solids from the storage basins are designed to return to the plant inflow. Early in 2023, solids return led to a significant process upset. By June of 2023, the Echo Water facility was inundated with solids nearly throughout our systems. Our secondary process was increasing solids, and the risk was if the solids were to get past our secondary process into our tertiary process, they would potentially blind our filters and cause us to have to discharge illegally or violate our discharge permits. As you can see here, there's an overflow and containment booms here. To prevent that from happening, in June of 2023, we capped the overflows of the SSBs, preventing solids to get back to the plant. This was a temporary measure, but needed to prevent solids from returning to the plant. Following that, on August of 2010, last year, an emergency declaration was made by the district engineer to authorize emergency funding to address the biosolids issue. Emergency funding of $5 million was allocated to expedite the supplemental harvest operations with an outside contractor. This was referred to as phase one of our supplemental harvest process. On September 27th, 2023, an update was given to your board about the ongoing response to the biosolids situation. And on December 13th, 2023, there was a receive and file was issued terminating the emergency and then following normal procurement procedures for additional phases of operation. The supplemental harvest operation included two phases. Phase one was the emergency funding. We had a contract with outside contractor to initiate the removal of 6,300 dry tons from the solid storage basins. Phase two followed that, was competitively bid process to remove another 5,800 dry tons, achieving a total removal of little over 1,200 dry tons. Both phases involved the removal of biosolids from the SSBs, placement of those biosolids into large dewatering bags, and then allow them time to dewater, and then to break them open and spread them in the spring, which is currently happening now. The process includes a dredge or a barge that floats out in our biosolids. It dredges material from the top toward the bottom of the solid storage basin. It is then pumped through pipes into the solid storage basins. And on the picture on the left is the dredge, and the picture on the right is our polymer feed system that gets injected to the pipe to help promote dewatering of the biosolids. On the left is a picture of the biosolids layout. It shows the distribution piping and manifolds, and it shows the geotextile fabric bags that are meant to allow water, retain solids, and allow water to escape the bag and return to the system. Those bags sit on top of a coarse mesh material, and then sit on top of a impervious liner. The coarse mesh material is allow water to seep out the bottom of the bags and return back to our system. On the left, you can see the bags are full and full of biosolids, and the drainage swell lined on the left side, which returns the decanted water back to our system. This is the overall biosolid site. This entire square area is DLD5. It is approximately a 40-acre site. Half that site is being used for biosolid storage of bags, so we're talking 20 acres of biosolid storage. Each of these bags are approximately 6 foot tall, 30 foot wide, and 200 foot long. And there's a total, not in this picture, but ultimately the entire area was covered here, and there's a total of 120 bags. Following that operation, this is a comparison of the solid storage basins which were dredged to fill those biosolids bags. Picture on the left is from September of 2023, showing the amount of biosolids and islands that were created. Picture on the right is that same basin, Basin 3 solid storage basin that has since been dredged. And in the background, you can see the bagging operation has occurred. Disposal of the biosolids. Maximizing on-site disposal of the biosolids at our dedicated land disposals is by far the most economic means, so we're trying to maximize this. We are hauling off, starting on April 16th. We'll likely be hauling off-site some biosolids, but we're trying to minimize this. It'll be hauling off for beneficial use and reuse at agricultural lands. To date, there is no odors. We've opened 12 and spread 12 bags worth, so about 10% of the operation has been spread out through our DLDs. We have no noticeable increase in odors, but nonetheless, we have an odor mitigation plan and a public outreach plan in place. The odor mitigation plan includes staging of fans and the use of fans and masking agents. And then the public outreach includes the use of social media and signage. Neither of these have been implemented yet, but we are prepared should the odor situation change. This is the on-site distribution. This is, again, the DLD5. This is the early stages. This picture is about 2 weeks old. You can see the biosolids being spread out on the DLD. They spread it out about 6 inches thick across all 4 DLDs. And then our staff comes with our own equipment, plows that in both directions, and then disc it into the field to dispose of it. Very similar to our normal harvest season. Again, a total of 12 bags have been opened. This is a different angle. You can see in the background the solid storage basins that were actually dredged to fill these bags. In addition to this, we have several mitigation measures that we put into place. The overflow from the SSBs that returns to the plant gets intercepted at this location. And this is a mobile belt press that basically takes that overflow, adds polymer, and then presses it through a belt press to additionally remove additional solids. Through this process, we're removing 5 dry tons a day, and this process is really to help us prevent additional solids coming back around to our system. And another mitigation step is containment booms. We have the yellow containment booms with PVC pipes that help prevent surface solids from reaching the overflow. In addition, the overflows have been increased by 5.5 inches. On the right is some emergency pumping that we have on site and in place. We haven't needed to use this. We've been fortunate enough to have a cooperative weather season, but this is in place should we have a significant storm event where we cannot keep up with the overflow. We can pump the overflow from the biosolids temporarily to one of our emergency storage basins on site if needed. This piece of equipment is a bit of innovation on our staff's part, so I want to give them credit. This machine is called the Wolverine. It's essentially a manure agitator and is used in the dairy industry. There's a video. I'm not sure how to start the video. That's okay. It's a land, water, amphibious machine. In the back of it, it has the propeller. In the front, it has a pump, and it basically shoots out biosolids. It's controlled by an operator by remote control, so it drives around the ponds, and its purpose is to redistribute biosolids across the pond in a more even fashion to promote settlement, also to distribute biosolids away from the overflow. This has been proven to be a very good tool for us. We piloted it. It's working very well. We think there's extended use even beyond this emergency event for normal operations, so we've actually purchased it.
Director Talamantes?
Is this the name of the equipment, or did you guys make this up because it's so creative?
It is the name of the equipment, Wolverine. It's made by a company called Bazooka. So Bazooka and Wolverine.
God, they must be like Marvel, DC fans. Okay, thank you.
How? Boys and their toys.
Another effort we're taking on is biosolid settling study. We're using different mixtures of polymers to try to promote settling. Unfortunately, none of the polymers have increased a thickening or settling of the solids. We are doing some operational changes at our BNR to help promote biosolids, and we continue to study those and try to take advantage of these new processes that we have, and we continue to learn them. Cost summary, what this means for cost. Phase 1 operation was our emergency operation done this fiscal year, is a total cost of $5 million. That was emergency funding allocated for this Phase 1 event. Phase 2 operation, which is still currently underway as well, this fiscal year, it has a range of $7 million to $9.3 million. The reason it has this range because the off-site disposal is quite a bit more expensive. Again, we're trying to maximize on-site disposal, but we may have to use some off-site disposal. That's why there's a range here. The Phase 3, we anticipate a Phase 3 and a Phase 4 operation in subsequent fiscal years. Phase 3 operations is included in the budget that you guys will be receiving next month, I believe. And it is estimated at $13.5 million. And then the subsequent year in 25-26 is basically the same with some escalation in cost. What does this mean operationally? This is an annual operating cost increase of $13.5 million to EchoWater, which is about 10% of our annual operating budget. We are in the early planning phases of adding one additional DLD to give us more disposal land. This is by far the most economical way for us to dispose of solids, so we know that's going to be needed. So we're starting the early planning phases of that, and your board will see we'll be asked to take actions on that eventually. Future upgrades and funding to meet the need of the biosolids disposal demand are expected and are currently being evaluated. We've kicked off an evaluation to determine the best way, the most economical way to address this continuing biosolids situation, and we expect that evaluation to be complete by the end of this fiscal year, prior to next year's budget season. So in summary and conclusion, the upgrades required to satisfy our 2010 discharge permit have caused additional biosolids disposal challenges. Annual operating cost for disposal of biosolids estimated at $13.5 million each year with escalation. An appropriation adjustment request is being prepared for this fiscal year and will be presented to your board by June. An evaluation to determine the most cost-effective means to meet our new disposal demands is underway. Future upgrades and funding to meet the new biosolids will be required. And all of this that I've presented today and more is documented in a technical memorandum of the biosolids emergency and is on file with the district and available upon request. With that, I'll take any questions you may have.
Okay, thank you. First, I'd like to lead off just by saying I really appreciate the district's communication to those directors who were most likely to receive complaints of odor issues, not only on the front end to say this is what's going on and this is the potential, but then also to follow up and say, look, we're now in the throes of it, and it seems to be going better than we expected. And so I really appreciate that. Yeah. All right, I've got a lot of people lining up here to speak, starting with Director Villegas.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a quick question. First of all, thank you for the presentation. And I'm just curious, just out of curiosity, it's already complicated enough to try to manage the system. And I know the permit requirements are very difficult to comply with. So hypothetically, in the event that there were reverse flows in the river, and I know this is sort of out of left field, but in the event down in the future that there were reverse flows, how complicated would it make an already complicated situation? And you can just keep it simple. I'm just trying to get my head around how, I mean, you're obviously trying to manage through a very challenging situation. But could you imagine in the future, in the event that we had to manage through or navigate through reverse flows in the river, and you were still being required to comply with the discharge permit, and 15, 20 years down the road, we had added, I don't know, a couple 100,000 more homes, and just the volume has increased exponentially because of growth in the region as we expect it to be.
As it relates to the biosolids, it probably wouldn't affect the biosolids process so much because it's more of a solids process, but it would affect our discharge to the river. We we were forced to get off the river for a number of reasons right now, thermal compliance, flows, those type of things. That would be a situation that would, if we had a reverse river, it could potentially be a situation where we cannot go to the river. We would have to store until that potentially corrected itself, and there was a window that we could potentially discharge. So it would be very complex and complicated on the water side.
Can I add just a point to that? Essentially, what you're describing is we already have that situation with reverse flows, but I think you're saying more of the same.
Yep.
And all of the things that we do now would be more costly because you just have to do that, as Sonny said, getting off the river, you have to do that more frequently. So it adds to the complication and it adds to the cost.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Frost.
You know, I've toured your plant, and I've probably been told this before, and I can't remember, but with the biosolids that you're spreading in the fields, is there any kind of a toxic impact there, and do you have to then, do you just keep spreading it in the same area, or do you have to rotate, and how does that impact the ground and you know, I don't know, in your processes, does that eliminate all the drugs and the petroleum-based everything? All, you know, does it sanitize it, or how does that impact the ground?
Understand. The biosolids that are being injected on the fields that they're being injected on, first of all, it's been treated. A lot of that stuff has been removed. A lot of the nutrients have been removed. But the fields that it's being injected on were lined approximately 20 years ago. And they are lined, and any leachate that comes from those fields is collected and returned back to the system. In addition, we monitor groundwater in and around the area to make sure that we're compliant and we're not causing any damage to the down gradient water system.
Got it. Thanks. It's a refresher.
Thank you. Director Guerra.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate that. I'd actually like the supplemental information that you have available. And just out of curiosity, what is the composition of the biosolids that are being placed out there, and are they candidates for some of the most recent gasification efforts that are being used to further decompose biosolids? And I understand some of the ag industry is looking at this because of their quantity as well. And so I'm just wondering, since we were to use one ag application, if the composition of the biosolids don't allow us to use that as a long-term solution here.
The biosolids being placed out on the DLDs are Class B biosolids, and it can be used on certain ag applications at very very low rates. We do have biosolids recycling in our recycling center of 25%, and that's a Class A material. It's pelletized, and it is often hauled off by a company that we partner with called Synagro, and they do apply that to multiple ags. And I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, that does. I appreciate that. I'd like to talk further about, what other options there could be with the Class B type of product. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you want to, we'll get you connected to someone who has some better information and answers on the gasification, if that's what. Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from directors? So I just have one, and it's kind of down in the weeds. For the agitator, to me that seems like it's restarting the process by blowing the biosolids up and asking them to settle again. Is there a possibility, or have we explored using some sort of perforated skimmer or something that would simply come and just take everything that's remaining on the surface and moving it so that there's still room for the water to come in? And flow correctly?
I guess it's possible. We can look into technologies as such. When we looked at pond management and how to achieve distribution and or promote settlement, this is one of the things that came up that was being used in the cattle industry that we thought was of value. It does when we get islands that built into the ponds, the challenge there is the inflow to the pond goes directly to the outflow, and it gets channelized, and we can't have that. So we use this agitator to break up. It does resuspend temporarily the solids, but allows the solids to settle more uniformly.
Distributes them back out again.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we're always looking for additional innovation. So if you or anybody else comes across something, we'll
Well, to be
look
clear,
into
I
it.
have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm just throwing it out there.
I know, I question that, Pat.
You know, basically my comments could fill one of those bags that are 200 feet long, 30 feet wide. All right, any other questions on this item? No? Okay, thank you very much for the presentation. Any members of the public wish to comment on this item? No? Okay, then we will move on to item number 8.
Item number 8 is an update on the cash reserves investment program, and that's the title.
Okay.
Good morning, Chair and members of the board. My name is Tepa Banda. I'm the Director of Finance for the district. So the cash reserves program is fairly new. It was an initiative the district started to increase their earnings on our cash reserves. Historically and up to now, the county is the custodian of our funds, and they invest in the county pooled investment fund, which is a short-term oriented fund because most of the money is kept there for operational uses. And so the district saw an opportunity here to invest these funds on a longer term, because if you invest in longer maturity securities, you get higher earnings or higher yields. But we couldn't do that in the county pool because it's limited to short-term securities. And so that's kind of the purpose of why we have a cash reserves program. And so 2022, we've been implementing this program, and we've been reporting to the Investment Advisory Committee that was established by the board. And so we were directed by that committee to sort of bring an update to this board in a timed presentation. We have been providing receive and file, but they tend to go under the radar. So we were sort of asked to come here and sort of just highlight how the program has fared up to now, given the objectives that we're there to set out. So I'll give a bit of an overview of the program and where we are today. And I have Carlos Oblites from Chandler Asset Management. They're our investment managers for these funds. So he also kind of give a little bit of what they do for us to make sure our investment portfolio is performing according to our objectives. So I will talk about a bit of a timeline from how we got started and where we are now, how much we have transferred, how much of our reserves we've removed from the county treasury to our own investment accounts, and how that is allocated and how it's performing, and sort of give a comparison to the county pool, because one of the objectives was to get a higher return over the county pool. So I think it's and then from there I'll hand it off to Carlos, who will talk a little bit about their investment process and how they invest the funds and rebalance and all that. So just an overview on our timeline. It's almost 3 years ago now. In July, the board adopted an investment policy. So the investment policy essentially describes what our objectives are for investing those funds. One of them is to protect the principal so we don't lose money. That's the key one. And then it also describes what kind of securities can our manager can invest in to make sure that those objectives are met. So the board adopted that investment policy for SAC-SUR and also delegated treasury responsibility to my position over those cash reserves, because as you know, the county director of finance is the treasurer for the district in all other areas. So they had to delegate this authority over this portfolio, which we were taking out of the county. The following year, starting August 21, once the foundation was set, the process to select an investment advisor manager was kicked off, and by January of 2022, we had selected Chandler Asset Management through a competitive process, and the custodian bank where the money actually sits, the U.S. Bank. And we opened several accounts there to align with our different designated reserves. Then through the year, we developed an MOU with the county because we had to establish a process how we would formally withdraw the funds from the county without disrupting the county's operation. So we kind of worked through with the county, and we brought that to the board. It was approved in August. So once that was done, we started withdrawing the funds and investing them, with our asset manager. So that between September of 2023 to January, we withdrew the bulk of the reserves that we had earmarked to transfer. We did leave some just to see how the process was going. So our general reserves, our general operating reserves, we still kept with the county. We were going to kind of review how things go before we ultimately move all those reserves out. And so since January, somewhat February, I would say, of 2023, Chandler Asset has been managing about $223 million of those funds, which we summarize here. So we maintain reserves for each of our systems. So the treatment and resource recovery has 3 reserves types, and as well as the collection system. There are a number of funds in our operating reserves. We have a number of reserves in our capital program, and then for SRF loan, that's required because of the loan we got from the California Clean Water State Revolving Fund. It requires us that we maintain a reserve equal to 1 year's worth of debt service. So and so those funds are also invested. And for the collection system, those are the different accounts and purposes of the reserves that we have. So up to date, we have transferred that much, about 23.1 million, which is being actively invested by Chandler Asset Management. And so an overview on the performance, so as you can see on the right, that portfolio has grown to $235 million as of December last year. So that's about $12 million in growth of those funds. And there, on the left, the chart shows the allocation of our investments, which is consistent with what is prescribed in the investment policy. So about 2/3 of our assets are in very secure fixed income securities related to the U.S. government, 40% directly in U.S. Treasuries, and about another 26% in U.S. agency securities, and then the balance of it mostly in investment-grade corporate bonds and asset-backed securities.
Hang on one second, Director Frost.
You may be coming to this. What is supranational?
Supranational. I think I'll let Carlos go, but I think in brief, they are securities issued by other governments other than the U.S. government.
That's
Do you want to
interesting.
add, Carlos? He's our expert on the description of our asset classes.
Good morning, Chair and board members. Yes, my name is Carlos Oblitas. I'm a senior portfolio strategist with the investment team. I'm involved in the investment process, or how we make our decisions on our portfolios. A supranational bond is a bond issued by a World Bank organization. You probably know them as the International Finance Corporation or Inter-American Development Bank. These are specific issuers that were allowed under California Government Code back in 2014. They trade as a AAA rated security. They have the full faith and credit of the United States government and all the member agents or all the member nations who are signatories to that particular World Bank organization. The reason we use them is because, number one, they're legal to use. Number two, they're very high credit quality. They're domiciled in Washington, D.C. They're AAA rated, and they give comparable yields and returns to federal agency securities. So it gives us an opportunity to provide a diversifier into the portfolio.
So essentially, we're investing into them.
You're lending them money. Since a bond is a loan, you're lending them money, they pay you interest on that money. That's exactly right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Carlos. And just to put it in perspective, it's about 1% of our portfolio that is in supranational. The bulk of our portfolio is about 2/3, like you pointed out, is with our own, federal government. So, and then finally, we just have a chart here, kind of showing the comparison to the county. So the thick line shows the big jumps in the first part of that is the deposits, because we deposited our funds over time. So that big swing just means a new transfer of funds. So somewhere around March 2023, then the line stabilizes, because now that's just the normal gains and losses of our portfolio. The dotted line sort of tracks what the county, how the funds would have grown if they were in the pooled investment fund of the county. It's tracked very closely, but we are slightly up ahead. As of the end of the year last year, we were $1 million higher than if those funds had stayed with the county. I do have to say that we were a little surprised, but not very surprised. The environment we've been in these past few years, what they call the inverted cave, the yield curve. So because the Federal Reserve had, 2022, they really increased short-term rates. So short-term securities ended up paying you more than let's say a 3 or 5 year security. And so the county pool benefited from those very high interest rates in the short term. And so it was able to achieve very comparable returns to our portfolio. But I think over time, when the yield curve kind of goes back to normal, where a 1-year bond pays you less than a 2-year, pays you less than a 5-year, and ours are on the higher end, we think we would maybe get a much better separation with that. On that, I'll end my part of the presentation. If there are any questions, I could take them now, or we could...
Any questions for Tepa at this point? Okay, seeing none.
I'm sorry, I just have a quick...
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
On the bonds, they're all amortized on a certain schedule, so there's... I'm assuming we can't call those bonds, or there's no prepayment penalty, or the terms of those bonds, like if for some reason we're loaning them money, if we needed money, could we cash in those bonds for money in our local government?
You could, although sometimes you might have to sell at a loss if you sell them before maturity.
So it would be like selling the note at a discount, a discounted note.
It depends on the interest rate environment at the time you choose to sell. Depending on the interest rates, you might sell them for a gain, or you might sell them for a loss. And so I think if it has to be an emergency case, maybe that becomes a case. But if you have to plan it, I'll let Carlos go into the mechanics of when they time the sales and redemptions. But so it depends on the interest rate environment. If the interest rates are lower than when we bought the bonds, then we'll sell it for a gain. But if the interests are higher than when we bought the bond, then we'll sell it for a loss. So generally, that would be the impact.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Director Frost.
All
Okay,
right,
now
so-
we'll hear from Carlos, and I'll just give a primer for the directors that he is a wizard at what he does. And had I paid closer attention to his investment strategy early on, my own portfolio would be have benefited. But Carlos, we are losing directors here, and so I'll just ask you to kind of keep things at a
5 minutes. So hopefully.
Very good. All right, thank you.
I'll be very succinct. Thank you very much. So, yes, you heard that we're about 1.1 million than had you been in the pool, and that's great news, but there's much more to it than that. I want to take a step back and just give a brief overview, and then I'll touch upon the pages. Director Frost, I think your questions were very astute. It's important to note that California Government Code governs your investments, so it really restricts in what you're able to do. You can't buy stocks from other you can't buy ownership or stocks in corporations or anything like that. You're really limited to lending money out, and you do that in the form of buying bonds. When you're an investor in the bond markets, you're basically lending money for a term, and at the end of that term, you get your money back, and you're earning interest along the way. If you wanted to get out of it early, as your CFO stated, there is a robust secondary market, much bigger than the stock markets. It dwarfs it actually in dollar size, where you can transact and buy and sell these securities, and that's precisely what we do. It's helpful to know. If you squint, you'll be able to see this. This is just a report that we provide to staff on a monthly basis. It is a compliance report where we've put a summary of your investment policy here, and we state whether we're in compliance or not. And the reason I'm putting this up here is because the investments that you make, as I stated earlier, are heavily regulated and governed by code. And on top of that, they're governed by your investment policy, which is compliant with California government code. That policy was developed by us jointly with staff here and approved by you and governed by you. One of the key things that I might mention is that it's really important to make sure that you comply with the policy, because it states that you're in compliance with the law. It lets your stakeholders know that you're following the law. It's also incumbent upon us as your fiduciary manager that when we execute the trades in the portfolio, we're complying with your investment policy. One more thing that I might add is California government code is silent, but one of the things that came out from the committee, the investment committee that we work with, was that we avoid fossil fuel issuers. So any borrowers, any people that are issuing bonds that are involved in the fossil fuel industry, that's a provision that was added in there to just because it's in line with the values of the agency. Very quickly, generally, most agencies will have an approach where they're going to focus on their most liquid funds, and they need those funds immediately or quickly or within a very short period of time. California government code states your goals as safety, followed by liquidity, meaning that the money has to be available when you need it, and then followed, after you meet those two requirements, then you can pursue returns in the portfolio. So with your liquid funds, those funds that are needed for immediate liquidity, the agencies generally pursue that in the county pool, which has been a good alternative. They've done a great job, and you continue to do that. There are funds, however, that are longer term, that are not needed immediately, which generally can be pushed out in longer maturities to generate higher returns over the long run. And that's generally what we're doing on your behalf, and that's that second bullet. Generally, the first one, you're focused on interest income. It's called yield. You're trying to pick up yield wherever possible. The second one, not only are you trying to pick up yield, but you're also trying to appreciate the value, the underlying value of the investments themselves. I'm going to skip this one for brevity, but I just want to, this is the 6 portfolios that we manage on your behalf. We're $235 million. That is just a fraction of your investment program. The bulk of it still resides at the county pool. That amount of money is averaged. It averages about 2.5 years. So when I look at the average of every bond in there and I come up with a weighted average maturity or duration, I'm going to use the term duration because that's a specific term that we use in a measure. The target or the strategy is to stay somewhere around 2.5 years. That's longer than the county pool's 9.5 months. The pool is focused on liquidity for its investors. People move money in and out every day, and they have a strategy that has to have a lot shorter maturities to meet those cash demands, and they're very good at doing that. This strategy, because you're not needing that money immediately, focuses on longer-term investments, because over the long run, longer-term investments tend to pay you higher return. The yield to maturity is the interest income you're expected to earn into the coming year. If you think of driving a car, and if you say, I'm going 60 miles an hour, that means that in an hour you'll cover 60 miles. So at 440, and I now have to squint, 446, that means that if I stay at this rate over the next year, I will earn interest income that's going to equate to about 4.46. The market yield is the yield at which we're generally reinvesting if we reinvest this money to make it look like the way this portfolio looks like on that date. So it it infers a reinvestment rate. 3 months prior, we were reinvesting somewhere around 5.25. Today, that's come down just a little bit at 4.47. To give you an idea, to compare to the 4.46 that we're currently locked into right now, if you compare that to the county pool, they're somewhere around 4.2. And that's because we're well diversified from a maturity standpoint, but more so from a sector standpoint. So not only are we purchasing bonds, let me restate that so that we all kind of get in the frame of mind here. Not only are we lending money to the federal government directly to the U.S. Treasury, the district is also lending money to its federal agencies. It's lending money to very high credit quality corporate issuers. You'll recognize some of the name, Apple, Amazon, some of the larger banks. You're lending money to supranational entities, which Director Frost asked about. Those are World Bank umbrella organizations. You're lending money to some banks through some CDs that are negotiable, certificates of deposit. And then the CMOs are pools of mortgages. The ABS are pools of receivables like credit cards and auto loans. All of these, here's what I want to emphasize. All of these are very high credit quality, and we're not just relying on the credit quality that the rating agencies tell us. Part of our job as your fiduciary investment advisor is to do the credit analysis on these to make a determination that is the district going to get its money back when it's due, and is this asset going to retain its value as the economic environment progresses, and is the yield they're offering, meaning the interest that they pay you, competitive. And that's an active process, and the way that we manage this portfolio is an actively managed process. There's that maturity distribution. I'm going to jump ahead and just to use this particular portfolio. It's one of the portfolios since we began with this one. We started a little bit less than a year. So far, we're at 4.98% for the year. Not bad. There's some others, and they'll vary anywhere from around 3.6 to about 5% return. So this is a little bit different than the yield that I described driving the car at 60 miles an hour. This is how many miles did I actually cover, right? So since we began in this particular portfolio, it was 5%. How much did we add to this portfolio? How did we grow it? But the key things here are this is very interest rate driven. It's macroeconomic driven. That means that we have to pay a lot of attention to the macroeconomic environment. The goals, safety, liquidity, and return. We take those two goals, safety and liquidity, very seriously. Code doesn't want you to lose money, and we don't either. Let me pause there, and perhaps there's questions that you may have for me.
Great. Thank you, Carlos. Director Frost.
Who is the signatory on the security? Can we assume it's the taxpayers then? The money that we're loaning?
So the money belongs to the districts, and the money is loaned out to these issuers. So the exchange, the way the transaction works is basically when you purchase the bond, you are legally you have a legal right not only to the principal when they promise to pay it back to you, but you also have a right to the income that they pay you on a periodic basis while they hold your money. And that is the equivalent of a loan at the bank. So for example, if let's say Amazon were to default on its bond, you have the legal right to go to court and take Amazon to court and basically fight for your money back.
So Amazon's the signatory.
That's right.
On their bond.
Right, for their particular
Got
bond.
it. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions from directors? Even if they're on their way out the door? No, that's okay. It's good. I appreciate the questions. And I'm sure that Tepa and Carlos are available for any director questions. I'm telling you, the wealth of information we receive in the subcommittee is impressive. And so thank you very much for coming today.
You're available for questions? We have them?
Yeah.
Yes.
Intense questioning only.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. With that was our last informational item. We do have a receive and file noted on the agenda, and the Financing Authority meeting has been canceled, so that brings us to an adjournment. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, sir.